Hey, Cyclibetic here again. This video is going to be going through the race I'm about to do. Hopefully it goes well. I'm really excited for it. It's going to be the first race I've ever done on my road bike. I'm normally a mountain biker. That's why my first video was mountain biking. Most of them will be. Prefer my mountain biking, but there will be a lot of road cycling if this goes well. So the race I'm partaking in is the BUCS 25 mile time trial. BUCS is the British University and College Championships. So basically I'm representing my university. There's 4 people going down competing, so we're all hoping to do quite well. My race isn't until 1 in the afternoon. Some of the people I'm going down with, their races are just past 9, so going to be heading down nice and early to support them for it as well. Hopefully they're stick around to support me. So it's going to mean leaving here really early, so I'll be going to bed in a minute, get a nice long night's sleep, early night, well rested for the race. There has been a few concerns regarding my diabetes for this. Past few days it's not been great, they've been really low, I've been having a lot of hypos. For me that is something that just doesn't happen a lot. I don't hypo that often, but today I've had much better control. They've stabilised. Lowest I've been today was 5.4, gone up to 12, so really happy with that control. Hopefully that'll continue through. Obviously be checking it a lot tomorrow before the race and after the race. As it's a time trial, I am just going absolutely flat out, so there won't be time for me to sort of stop and check my sugars. So it'll just be a lot of checking before, see how they're trending, and then just really carefully looking after them afterwards. So I will see you in the morning. Right, well, just got up, had a good night's sleep, ready for this race, really pumped for it now, cannot wait to get out there. Right, well, that sugar was 6.5, not entirely happy with that, I would have liked it a little bit higher. Right, so back from the race, so tired after that, put all my effort in. A few people told me when I asked me advice that if you can stand up afterwards you aren't putting your effort in, and to be honest, I could not support myself standing up. Could barely even sit down for a couple of hours afterwards. Absolutely shattered. But it's what I was expecting. It's the first time I've ever raced a road bike. I've only been riding road bikes for 2 months, so whatever the result was, I was going to be happy with it, as it would be a personal best. As far as today went, it was nice temperature, nice humidity. Unfortunately it was quite a bad crosswind, so that did make it a little bit difficult. On the outbound leg that was pushing you into traffic, on the return leg that was pushing you into the verge. As far as my diabetes went for this though, it was really well behaved. I was so happy with how it went, especially considering the concerns I had with how it had been in the days preceding. As already mentioned, when I woke up this morning, just going to check these readings now. When I woke up this morning I was at 6.5, so I would have liked it a little bit higher, but was quite happy with that. Then on the drive down there, I was driving down from where I'm here in Nottingham down to Oxford, which is where the race was held, so it was a couple of hours in the car. So heading down, didn't take anything on board on the way. Sorry, me, it's just turned off. So checked a couple of hours later when we got down there. After having my breakfast, I was up to 9.6, so trending up, which is what I was liking the race. Better on this was still a couple of hours before my scheduled start. So then started carb loading a little bit before, so I could start out with an elevated blood sugar. Not sure if that's really the best practice to do, but it's just what I do, so I'm confident I'm not going to hypo during the ride. So I then consumed a fructose-based drink, which I think comes out about 47 grams of carbohydrate, taking that. After having that I was at 10.9, so again just going up a little bit more. Then just before, about half an hour before my start, headed up for a little bit of a warm up on local roads, was at 12.7, so they're continuing to rise, feeling really confident. After that warm up, which had quite a steep climb on it, did a quick check before I headed up to the start. I was at 16.4, which is probably a little bit higher than I would like to have started at, but I was just going to see how it goes. Didn't take any more insulin on board since breakfast, at which point I did actually give myself a very reduced bolus on what I normally do, which is what I do when I'm going to have a very active day. My meter is set up so that I tell it I'm going to be active, and it'll take 20% off what it's recommending I inject. So just before the race I also took on board an energy gel which have about 10-12 I think grams of carb on board, very quick acting carbohydrate as well. So after taking that, just headed up to the start line. I was hanging around there for a few minutes, recommended to get there a few minutes beforehand, so heart rate was dropping down a little bit then. I didn't bring a heart rate monitor, which is something I will intend to do next time, but I probably should have done, because I do tend to have quite a fast heartbeat, so it's something that really is worth keeping an eye on. So I headed out, felt quite comfortable on the bike going out, putting in not 100% start, just make sure I could get to the end, but really putting in a lot of effort. It was straining my legs quite a bit going out. Got to halfway point, turned around, everything's going well so far, quite happy with how it's going. About 5 miles before the end of the 25-mile race, so quite near the end then. Started to get a bit uncomfortable on the bike, but past the road sign that said it was only 5 miles to the town where the finish line was, so I knew I could keep going no matter how much pain I was in. I was just going to keep pushing through it. So as soon as I got back, checked my time, sort of one thing I was most concerned about, managed a 1 hour 13 minutes 16 seconds, which I was incredibly happy with. I was aiming for around 1 hour 20, so I beat that target, so it was the first race I've done, so it's a personal best regardless of how well I did. And then as soon as I found that out, checked my blood sugars, post-race they were at 9, so really happy with how they finished. Did not crash during the race, did not actually take on board any carbs during the race. I had some on me just in case. Now I know I don't need them over that sort of distance. In future ones I will carry less on me, so I'll just have enough to treat a hypo rather than steadily keeping my sugars up, so that will reduce weight. So anything you can do really to get weight off helps. So then just kept constantly checking my sugars afterwards, because generally I do crash after a ride, which they didn't do too badly. I finished at 8, then was drinking another carb drink, so slowly taking on carbohydrates, got them up to 10.1, so really happy with that, weren't going down. Drive back went okay, no issues. My final reading of the day was 14.2, so just kept going up. Maybe I should have taken a little bit more insulin on when I had my tea, but 14.2 isn't too bad for me. Then woke up the next day at 7.8 when I woke up, and I'm really happy with how my diabetes coped with that. I was so happy with how it went, especially considering how I'd been the few days before. And just a few minutes ago the results were released for the overall standings. I did set my personal record, I've set my university's record, but unfortunately the competition is so high at this event, a lot higher than I did expect it to be. My time was unfortunately only good enough for 95th, I think there was 100 finishers, but bearing in mind the top 50 all finished under an hour, which is a time I'm really striving to get to, so hopefully for next year's I'll be in that top 50. So now it's just to find the next race and get on training of that. Right, bye.